progress. Okay. Hello, our listeners. I am the fabulous Tengu. Only joking. I am Tengu,
Doesn't he look
and
great?
so yeah,
Try
so
to. Mm, try to.
I'm Tengu, and that's Stride somewhere there. I always get this wrong because it's actually the other side. It's
Does it switch? So,
yeah, you're on this side, so yeah, you're this side. So
yeah,
yeah,
I
no.
think it does. Yeah, it does switch me. So
Okay, so who has never listened to us before? I'm Tengu, and this is my co-host here.
try. Good.
So we haven't done one of these in a while. I think this is the first one of 2025. We did do our podcast, and that was a pretty good one.
Damn.
So we have decided to do another video cast because it's been a while, and people like YouTube and all that sort of thing. So today's topic, or this evening's topic, is frequencies. So
Well, energy, frequency, and vibrations. It's all this.
energy, frequencies, and vibrations. So if you don't know what frequencies are, get out from underneath a rock because it's everywhere.
Mhm.
Sound is frequency, your body's vibrational field is frequency, and there's different fields of frequency. You could say there's a God frequency and stuff like that. There's where there's I've been messing around with music and I had a rough idea of how it all worked. When we
Yeah,
talk
well,
about
everything is frequency, and if you think of string theory, how everything is vibrating,
mm,
vibrating strings, and he even goes further than that. But
yeah, it's even that word when people say
mhm.
it's kind of a meditation frequency.
Yeah, we all everything resonates at a frequency, and if you can, the way like if you could tech like techno build a device to walk through a wall, all you would have to do is record that wall's frequency and then match it to the device, and you'd be able to walk through it. So if you match something's frequency, you can walk through it.
And that's where the top, whereas we get into the alien side of things, is people can meditate and get onto their frequency and actually, I guess, communicate. Like, it's like, I know we've mentioned Bashar and there's many other channelers out there, and they
Mm.
tap into the frequency of that being, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and that's a what they channel, and like just like we talked about on the show before, uh Tengu had a form of channeling. I don't want to freak him out and say it was possession because, like, I mean, it's the same thing. You're like something is entering your body, but yeah, these people who channel different entities, like Bashar, and there's another one. I always forget Theo. But yeah, so they're able to like they have to go through. I mean, sometimes people can just happen, but like you have to meditate and be able to match their vibration for them to be able to come down and occupy your vessel for as long as you. I guess they let them, but possessions,
Yeah.
they can. It could be in there and you don't even know it if you're talking about possession.
Possession would work the same way. So how possession would work is a being, a demon, whatever you want to call it, an angel,
Yeah,
can get into your frequency and then take control. Now, some people say they need invites, some maybe don't. I had a personal experience I've talked about before, and that was without an invite. That we were in something tapped in, and then it kind of took control. But it was a very strange experience because I know I've talked about it before, and just to be, I guess you could say it would be a possession of sorts,
yeah, it's crazy. Like
which
if that would
is
have happened to me, I wouldn't have been like, oh my god, scared. I would have just been like, I think I don't know. I'm glad you're opening up more to it now. You know, like I'm
yeah.
glad you're okay and everything, but that was like a little window into your capabilities right there, and your contracts to allow beings to come in.
Yeah,
And,
and
so,
this
and sometimes this is just channeling too, because information equals energy. too, because we live in an information field, an energy field.
And it
So
would
like
get
whenever
into,
you're right, sorry, but I was gonna say whenever you're writing, you're tapping into this information field,
yeah,
energy
you're
field.
tapping into that frequency. So I don't know a huge amount about how the spiritual frequency system works, but I mean, every single thing has a frequency. And it's like, as you're saying, you could go through a wall, provided you get the same frequency. And weirdly enough, there has been experiments of this done where people have ended up part of the body stuck inside a tree. They got to that frequency now. Yeah, there's a weird story.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. I heard it and it was a kind of a weird freaky thing. And then there was I think it was a shift, but I'm not entirely sure, where there's people within the walls. No one survived.
yeah.
They obviously got into the frequency.
You know what's interesting about that? If you ever heard of Jericho's, oh, was it Jericho's Wall, where they took, I don't know if it was the Ark of the Covenant, but they marched around it a certain amount of times, and then all of the walls just fell. I think a
Oh.
trumpet went off, but it was technology. The energy matched the frequency of the stone, and like, can you just
Hmm.
imagine walls just crumbling because it's that easy? Like, if you can match the frequency of it.
It would also be quite frightening if you got into a frequency and then you got stuck and you couldn't get out of it. For example, if your arm was stuck in a wall and you couldn't
Oh
get
my
out of
god.
it.
Yeah, have you ever heard of the Philadelphia experiment?
That's it. That's the one I was talking about. The Philadelphia
Yeah,
experience.
dude. Yeah, they tried like teleportation, and I mean they did teleportation is like very similar to time travel, but pretty much like yeah, they had that fucking boat. What was it in Philadelphia River? I
Uh-huh.
don't know what that is called, but they were testing it out, and then the boat disappeared and came back, and some of the men came back um molted in with the metal of the ship, like it melted them. So like, so you can see it's like, so whenever you like go it's like a soup, you know,
Mhm.
whenever you transform, like, because how is that possible? They were literally like melted into the ship.
Which,
Can you imagine just like waking up and like a wall was through your
oh
body
God, no, it would be
or your arm was
terrifying.
through, like, yeah. So Nikola Tesla had something to do with that too.
Hmm. I don't know much about his experiments, but we know like a lot of his stuff was stolen and his plans were stolen.
I mean, we said energy, frequency, vibration. I get that from my. I love him, like Nikola Tesla, like in the 369. So yeah, he was into all of that free energy. What he was describing wireless talking to each other without having to have cables, and being able to watch something live on the other side of the. He was explaining all of this stuff, and also he did get like that one incoming message. I don't know if they thought it was from Mars or whatever, but he got an incoming alien message. So I think he was very tempted to not only that, but you talk about sin and stuff. And Nikola Tesla, nobody knows this. He was a virgin,
Yeah.
and he was very, very like, I can't talk on too much who he is because I've never met him, of course.
Uh-huh.
But people say he liked to wear gloves. He was very sanitary. He had OCD, and he just worked, bro. Like that was
Yeah.
his love. That was his passion. And oh my, I would be so like in love with him. But even in love with him so much more at the fact that he does not want anything sexually. He's just like a scientist built it, like trying his best for humanity. And I think that's pure in a sense
Uh-huh.
because celibacy and not having sexual interactions can upper your vibration. So I think that also has something to do with it. And that's also I forget who else did that. It back in the day when they fucking had like a plague breakout or
Mhm.
someone was sentenced. It was Galileo or someone.
Okay.
Not Socrates. It was like one of those dudes. He also like, I don't know if he like died a virgin, but he was not having sex during his.
You see, that's a very interesting thing. So there is there is some people out there that are asexual, which means they have physically no sexual interest in anything. Now they can't perform sexually, but to them that there's no feeling or it's or sense. And the weird thing about that is because those people like that, because that sense, because that it's that part of the brain is just not there, or it just doesn't exist. That they are a more intelligent. They're on a different field.
Yeah.
Whereas there was a girl I knew, she was gorgeous, and she was asexual.
Nikola Tesla was so. You ever look at him, bro?
Yeah,
But
no,
that
she.
usually asexuals are very, very attractive too.
Yeah, but they've no interest, and like it would kind of be hard to be in a relationship with someone like that because it's as if
Well,
they get no
yeah,
feeling, but they
yeah.
do.
It would be like disrespecting them to
Mhm.
like boundaries because like they're not even. But like, I agree. Definitely tapped in.
Yeah, into a different frequency. But this girl I knew, she was really like I haven't talked to her in a long, long time, but you could say, for example, she was really good with music and stuff like that. I think she's a producer somewhere now. I can't even remember where she's gone. But you'd play, say she'd watch a video of someone playing a violin, like 10 minutes. Then she'd pick up the violin and then play it.
Oh yeah,
And that is incredible. Now she's on
memory
a
recall.
different scale because a violin is probably one of the hardest instruments to play. And to watch a 10-minute video and be do the exact same as that violinist, that it would be impossible for normal people to do.
Yeah, I mean
It
it's
really
crazy
would.
whenever you hear kids like that. But have you ever heard of savant syndrome when somebody like gets into a traumatic accident,
Oh,
hurts
I've
their
heard
head,
of this.
and then they like come out speaking different languages they never knew, or they can like fucking calculate things with their brain. That's just another good example about how our brain is wired. And I mean, it sucks like trauma has to um do that, but I mean, when you go through a traumatic experience, you can imagine the chemicals that are released. Most people have near death experiences, and I think dimethyltryptamine might be released even in a
Uh-huh.
near death experience. That's why like you hallucinate and stuff like that. But yeah.
Whoa, yeah, no. Oh, that's crazy. That is like to be able to do these kind of things is incredible. And I did hear about that's that thing you're talking about, someone's in an accident, and I've listened. It's incredible that they can speak another language or play a specific instrument. But there's also another thing called imposter syndrome now. I don't know if that's the correct term for it. Whereas someone is in a fatal accident and technically they could die, they died, but they came back. But the person that came back was not the person that died, if you get me.
Mm.
So that it was a completely different, like they looked like that person, but they were a completely different personality, different ways. And I've heard about that before, and that's something which I think all around us, there's probably multiple entities, beings. Like right now, there probably is
Oh yeah,
everywhere.
especially surrounding. I mean, they always say angels or loved ones are surrounding in hospitals.
Mhm.
Hospitals are used for entities are all around,
Of course, yeah.
waiting for to get into any vessel they can. So very much it could be when that person, it's their body has been taken over by
And yeah, and
an
I've
altar, maybe even an
an
altar,
altar, that's true.
even if
And
it's yeah.
it's just well, I know it's still on the same subject. There's frequencies, which means that person's physical body had been gone and the soul had already left. Then another soul jumped in and
Yeah, it's
became
a
that
window.
person,
Mm-hmm.
and that does happen. And it's like at the time of the accident or whatnot, where they were on the same frequency as this entity that was floating around and then was taking the chance. Okay, well, there's my chance. In it, gone.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
took control, and like even though the person was gone, it was a different person, and I just was listening to so many stuff on that, and I really think it's crazy, but also well, where does the soul go? And it's like,
Well, this is something really cool. If you've never watched this on, I don't know if you guys have Netflix, but it's called Travelers, and it's one of my favorite shows. And pretty much it's about time travelers and
oh, I think I
time
heard of it.
travelers. The way they're able to come in and the way they have to come in is at the moment. somebody's about to die. So like when a traveler is going to come in, you'll just see somebody living their daily life, and then it'll have a clock ticking down, like 2 or some minutes. It'll be like everything's normal, and then all of a sudden, like somebody's get is about to get hit by a bus, and then their brain gets taken over, and then it's like it's painful. So like and then that person doesn't die when they were supposed to, but that person isn't that person, so they have to go on living that person's life as if they're like they have to stick to the agenda all for the directive and for the AI agenda. They call it the director on the other side. And it's such a fucking amazing show. And
I think it was cancelled. I remember it was a very good show, and that shows
yeah,
you like a way of doing it. It's like it's like when you go to an actual demonic possession, whereas they can actually physically take over and
mhm.
knock the soul out, and then they control that whole body, and the other soul is gone,
Yeah.
which is
Go-
crazy
Ooh,
stuff.
I know, because like in that show, it was crazy. Like, because they didn't know whose body they were. It was insane because they didn't know whose body they were going into, and the
Oh
director, like,
yeah.
and the one dude, he ended up in a dude. He was not like teenage. He was like in his early 20s, and he was a heroin
I
addict.
remember this.
And he overdosed with his friend, like, and as he came, because he died with his friend. His
Uh-huh.
friend died, but like he then came back because that was his time to like come in the body, and he just fucking ran, because he was like, holy fuck. And this dude had to like hide it from like all of the other people on his team because they can come in on teams to do missions, and he had to like try to wean himself off. But it's good because they had a medical like professional on the team that would always be there, and it was amazing because she helped him like wean off of it and stuff. All if you guys ever,
I've
I think
seen it
every
show. It was a good
yeah,
show.
really really good.
It's really good. I love shows like this. I know like this is all beyond before I didn't mention this is Beyond the Veil podcast. So in case we didn't say that, it'll be on the title somewhere anyway. So that was a little piece on frequencies. Now I want to talk about something else. I think recently wasn't there some egg UFO sightings or something like that?
I saw it and I saw the videos, and it's just another one of those. If the government puts it out there, or if
Yeah,
channels talk about it, I mean, it could be real footage because that one nimble or whatever the fucking one shaped one that they had was real footage that released in 2017, I think it was. The black nimble, that was
yeah, I
real
remember
footage.
that
So
one.
this could be real footage, but it's so fucking shitty, and it's hilarious because people were recreating it with just like a line and an egg on a string and doing the background green, and it's like hardly
Or
any different. People
or
were
even
like,
a motorcycle helmet.
it's like you're giving us a little bit. You're saying it's an alien, da da da, egg shaped, but you're not giving us a good look at it.
Oh
Like
yeah, Stephen
if
Greer was
you
jumped
if
on
you
it.
are, we want to see up close pictures. If you're gonna tell us that you caught that, like you got it as the government, then I want to see close up, not some fucking grainy ass.
And that's the thing, like I didn't
Mhm.
see the footage, I just heard about it and straight away, as soon as it happened, Stephen Greer jumped on it and has set up he now has a podcast, he's on 3 episodes. I'm
Dude, I
not
saw he
gonna
was gonna do a podcast.
so, Stephen Greer is doing a podcast. I take that man's information with a grain of salt
I
because
would too.
he said he has this declaration, this thing Donald Trump signs. I don't know what the fuck it's called. It's a black paper, and he signs it, and he just does this thing and shows the world he signed whatever. Stephen Greer said he gave one to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is going to sign it live. That didn't happen. So this is more like Stephen Greer is
Wait,
a
because what
strange.
he was talking about before was getting something signed so that whistleblowers could come forth without, even if they signed NDA disclosures, they can and be in and be protected. So like if he was really like saying, "Oh, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen," so if like President Trump didn't do that and people came forth and their lives are in danger, that's
I think something was brought in for whistleblowers, if I'm not mistaken. They do have some protection, but this declaration Stephen Greer was talking about. It never happened. So
Mhm.
anyone he has a program and he charges people thousands of dollars to do this meditation with him. Uh, I looked at some of the videos that people recorded, and I mean,
Yeah, I already get like people have their own purpose, just like our Billy Carson talk. Everybody has their own purposes. We don't know what they're doing and who really cares, but like they really have their own agenda. And
yeah,
doesn't something maybe sometimes it doesn't like always look good. But Greer, on the other hand, like he's just shady because he knows all this information. He's been in the service, so I just feel like it's hard to believe he hasn't been like involved. Like bro, you've known too. So it's hard for you to be coming
and
out with
he all
people like saying y'all need to wake up and stuff. And I'm talking about with sex trafficking and child
mhm.
trafficking and stuff like that. Because and drug like they literally have uh, documentation of a UFO landing and soldiers unloading drugs off of it.
I
So
heard about this. Now I don't know if that's him saying
or
that, but I
uh,
know that one whistleblower did say that, so there's probably something in it. But he kind of what happens is with Greer, he kind of jumps on what's happening and adds his piece to it.
yeah,
You
and
know,
also he's like one of those cocky ones that thinks he knows everything because he's experienced stuff. And
and
like
he
I
hasn't.
totally get it. He's smart too. He's a brain
He
surgeon,
is smart, yeah.
but yeah, I just feel like everybody has their own agendas, and I'm not quite for his. Like I'm not hopping on no one's shit. Like I don't really
Yeah,
trust anybody anymore. I feel like everybody can be compromised, and they're using
that's
time
true.
for their own
Yeah,
benefit
no, that's true.
to
Like
get money out of people. And
that's the
also,
thing.
I wanted to mention I just watched like somebody do an interview with somebody who was at a see something contact. That's what it
It's
is
his
that they
thing. Yeah,
do.
I know what it is. It's his thing.
Well, this one dude got abducted there and had a very, very terrible experience, like horrifying experience, and never went back. So, like some of the things that they do, they don't exactly know what they're bringing in. Like he says,
That's
"Oh, we can tell it's like."
it's
Mm,
good, but that's the thing. He's on like years ago. We had Stephen Greer was saying there's going to be false flag events, and they're going to make the aliens seem bad, and then you have Tom DeLonge saying we need to defend ourselves against the aliens. But this has been the thing back and forth. But in saying that, when Greer does his meditation, he probably is calling something, but he says he knows what these things are, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't because these things, like you said there, they could be like it depends on what comes through. It's the same as demonic possession.
you don't
You
know.
could
Well, and also like we could talk about Bashar. Like I don't watch Bashar anymore, or I don't want to watch Gaia. And but because Bashar, he was telling people to get the jab, and also he was telling people that the best timeline would be a timeline when Kamala would win.
he
So
got that wrong.
you're compromised, bro. And he was trying to lead all these people who were, and a lot of people went for it, just because this one dude who's been tapping in, and even that entity can be using him, like Bashar could,
Of
or
course.
dude could totally be fooled. But I don't know. I just highly like
It's
doubt
it,
that.
you just don't know what's coming through, and it could be giving you complete wrong information. It could, like this is where the demonic stuff comes in. Is like do this, and I can help you, and like that. If everything has its own agenda, even
Yeah,
those
towards influence.
entities that will say will help, also they have an agenda. There's something they want,
But
and
yeah, and then with like lowering the frequency of your body, like a way to target, and this is how we are targeted. For people don't understand, just like we talked about Wi-Fi, you can't see it, but it's there. You can connect to it. Like we are constantly bombarded by different kinds of frequencies and everything, and the way it is how lowered the Earth's vibration is, and people's vibrations are insane. So when people's vibrations are low, it's like if you could visualize a force field around somebody and it's
uh-huh.
weakened to the point where like you can see an entity like an octopus attached a tentacle attached into it just sucking off of it like they're low vibration then it has its hand on another one and like usually low vibrational people all hang out and that's where we talked about like people who hang out at trap houses Like you can
Mhm.
tell, even elementals can be created that way, and they siphon off of like the addiction and just the fights and
Yeah,
everything that go on, just the
the
misery
fr
that
the
that go
frequency, you're right in that, like they take, like there's the most common entity of possession is a lower level entity. Now, when I say lower level, it's lower level in its plane of existence, but it'd be higher than us, our level. But it's in general, it's like, for example, there is parasitic entities. They're out there. I fully believe they exist, and they attach themselves to specific people, and they can push that person to do specific things, and it's just that person will do that thing to weaken that field. So the more it does that thing, then
on.
more of these things can attach to that.
That's how like say in the music industry and what's even going
Uh-huh.
on behind the whole world, sex trafficking and stuff. Like you have to wonder how are all these people so sick? Because like they have they're all sharing the same fucking disgusting parasite. They're like doing these rituals
Uh-huh.
constantly. They're some of them are drinking blood. Like they're on another fucking level. Like
Oh
they're
yeah,
from the
oh, definitely.
frequency, and it's not a high vibrational one. So like the high vibrational love is the highest vibration. It will always defeat fear
Mhm.
and stuff because that's like what they love to induce: fear, confusion, division, and conquering, and domination. Like that
And,
is their tactics right
and the
there.
weird thing is, some of these entities can manipulate that and say, "Oh, it's love and peace," and will manipulate that, and then people will go. For example, cults. People join cults because there's one person who's very good at convincing others of their beliefs, and that one who's sending the message has its entities attached, and
Yeah.
then that entity is then it's getting more people to join, and then those entities attach. For example, there was a guy in Brazil. I don't know if you've heard of him. He was called John of God. Have you ever heard of this guy?
I'm not sure.
Okay. So this guy, he was a healer. And yes, he could heal people, but at the same time, loads of people reported him sexual abusing them and all sorts of things. And he used his power. And yes, the dude could heal. He did have abilities, and that was a
Mhm.
thing. And but he used this entity, which was probably making him do this. Oh, I'll give you this power if you do this, and you need
Mhm.
to do this. No, he's I think he's either dead or he's in jail because he was caught doing what he did. That's
Yeah.
one example of now you can look that dude up if anyone out there wants to look him up, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Then you had some of these Indian guru dudes doing the exact same thing. They have loads of people coming to them and then the same thing, offering this power, this healing, and then sexual abuse. And this is ongoing.
Oh yeah, throughout history since the like beginning,
And
it's disgusting. Like how
mhm. And that's the
that
thing. And
things,
they could have extrasensory abilities, of course, but
but
that's
also
the
like
way to get
people
people
don't
in.
understand how strong sexual energy is, and that's one
Hmm.
reason why like they do their sexual acts and to
Yeah.
like take over somebody, dominate them, especially like we talked about how Diddy, what he was doing was really fucked up because he
Hmm.
was dominating men from the back purposely to make himself feel like he was the man and everybody had to bow down to him. It was like this whole energy exchange, and I forget what
Hmm.
chakra is down there, but it's breaking that chakra and stuff. So that's a whole other thing in its own. But still, chakras have to do with vibrations, which we know like I think it's is it Hebrew text that every letter coordinates to a color.
I've
Um,
I've heard
I
that
think it's very
before.
mathematical, but that's pretty
Hmm.
much how people have to think of things. Like every like if you could, I don't even know if I have it synesthesia or whatever, whenever you
Mhm.
can see colors. I feel like I have different forms of it, but
Uh-huh.
like if you could just hear me, or if you could visualize like the what's coming out of my mouth, the vibrations and what colors they would be, depending on like if I get louder or not, or even as like
Yeah.
a little the bar, because you were
Mhm.
doing music when you're talking, how like it shows that pattern of my
Mhm.
voice going like whenever I'm going
Yeah, like a music
higher
note.
and lower. Yeah.
I,
And and each sound, what we can get into like semantics and stuff,
mhm.
because semantics is insane. You could pretty much, I mean, yeah, you vibrate water, or you can put like sand on a plate and it makes vibrational patterns. You can freeze them as well, but each pattern like is its own frequency. There's so many of them, probably
Mhm.
infinite, and there's only a little bit ones, but like they all
Cool. I didn't know.
look the
That's
same.
actually a
Some
good
of them
idea.
are it's
Mixing the it's
geometrical
like we
patterns.
don't have that here.
It's like the
But yeah,
Matrix. It's
so
so crazy. It's
this
insane.
actually
It
is
is
going to be a
crazy.
shorter episode, which is it's
For
for
a
a few
first
minutes
time.
time. It is actually a shorter one. We just want to touch base on a few little things like frequency and stuff like that, and then we're talking about when you get onto a specific frequency, you could technically control different elements. For example, water and stuff like that, which is really fascinating. When you get into the frequency, you can actually control it, which is like that anime, The Airbender, which is kind of cool
Oh yeah, definitely.
to be able to do that. So there is people out there that have extrasensory abilities. I just there's probably is real mutants like stuff you'll see in Marvel, X-Men, these kind of things probably
Oh, I
exist.
promise you there are. I know
Uh-huh.
people, I mean, like whatever I say, take it for entertainment purposes
Uh-huh.
only. Like I am starting to like get to know a lot of people who've like served in programs,
Hmm.
and Marvel characters, some of like Wolverine, Storm are based off of actual people. I think they were serving in the space program too. They might still be alive, as well as Thor. Valiant Thor was a and
Valiant
you can look
Thor.
this up. If you ever look up when Valiant Thor landed and they took him to the one thing, he
Hmm.
was he's very handsome too, but he had 6 fingers. There's a picture of him
Like
actually.
AI. You know, when you do an AI image, they have 6 fingers.
I know. I always see that interesting.
It's interesting. Yeah, Valiant Thor is an example. Like, people, obviously, we talk about UFOs and aliens. So if you're watching this video, you sure as hell know who this dude is.
Hmm.
So I'm not. We'll talk about him at a later stage. But I mean, he was an extraterrestrial, who looked humanoid, and he showed up in different parts in time. And I think there's some photos of him out there as well. So if anything, there's proof that that dude exists. It also goes to Saint Germain, which is another one. I don't know if they're the same dude because he's also one that shows up in history and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And like could be a time traveler or whatnot. But
yeah.
yeah, as you
Time
were saying
traveling
there, like,
is such, and people think time traveling, just like I talk about travelers,
hmm,
there has to be like somebody literally coming in at a point just in randomness, to do something. But very well, we could be time travelers because time is not linear. So why is our contract set to like be focused on the here and now unless there was a purpose?
there is a purpose. This is an important time.
Hmm.
I don't know what it's important for. It hasn't shown yet, but this is important time for everyone.
Yeah.
And the advancements in technology, like, and just all these things, it's incredible.
Yeah, everything's gonna happen in the next few years. We were gonna be blown away. Like they think it's been crazy just now. I mean, 2025 has been nutty already. Like, but
It's not even. It's only not. It's 22nd
yeah.
of January. So I mean,
Hmm.
there's a lot more to come. I think there's so much crazy stuff going on out there. The drone thing that was happening, which everyone's forgotten about.
Well, no, I haven't forgotten about it. It's just suppressed on the internet because, like I said, I don't know if I mentioned this. If people don't use like social media, is that's fine. But I made a statement months ago
Uh-huh.
because I noticed whenever I was taking, because I started to use TikTok because it was like so informational.
Uh-huh.
So I was sharing a lot of TikTok videos over on Facebook. So whenever I would share them certain times, and it could just be like even on a podcast, I would get like an alert. It wouldn't be a violation or anything. It would just say, "Hey, we've noticed that this is belongs to somebody else, and they're
Oh
collecting revenue
shit.
on it. They're collecting revenue on it. So, in order for it to stay on your page, you have to share the ad revenue or the revenue." And I always share it because I'm like, all right, I don't give a fuck. They don't even pay me anyway. Like, so I
Huh.
share it, and then it'll like let the post be there. But and I remember like quoting this or like reposting it, and I was like, why is this even a thing if TikTok's about to be banned? That was very suspicious to me because that means y'all are cross referencing information, already. And if you're going to ban an app, why are y'all doing that now? So,
And it
and
was only
then,
banned for 8 minutes or eight
and
hours.
yeah, it was all then to make Trump look like the hero when he's actually the one who wanted it. I thought they wanted it gone anyway,
Yeah, he
but
was. I heard
people are
that.
so brain like just very brain dead and brainwashed. So everybody knows now,
Mm.
and it's crazy because a lot of people have videos of right before the ban. There was a link to start to link TikTok to your Facebook,
Uh-huh.
and after TikTok came back, Facebook made a TikTok account, so it's taken over by Meta, and already you can't type in anything bad about Trump.
Oh, that's
So
that's just general control, like, because that's your government at the
already
moment.
though,
So,
like that's how
oh
fast, because
yeah,
you get on there and already,
which
but
is bizarre because
and other things like
his
they're
buddy
suppressing like
his buddy Elon is on X, which I don't even go on anymore because it's just full of shit. And he's saying it's freedom of speech, but it's just crap. To be honest, I don't even go on it anymore. I couldn't be arsed. It's got an AI now. It's
that
got
man.
some
He can't even be taught with his whole stunt that he pulled, bro. I
fuck Elon. I
Did
don't
you
like
see
him.
it on TV?
Oh yeah, we seen it.
Did you see what
It's
he did?
yep. Yeah, he did the exact salute that we'd expect Adolf Hitler to have done. Now he's saying no, no, it was just me saying
People
thank
are trying
you,
to
and
blame it on, oh, he's quirky and it's his autism and stuff. No,
I
fuck
heard
that.
that.
Whenever I
Yeah.
saw that, a neurodivergent person
Mm.
seeing that, it made me want to cry because it was like, holy fuck, dude. Like, I mean, I know
Oh,
they're always showing it to us, they're putting it in our faces, but like, holy fuck, bro, you really did that. And as soon like I saw this one news that was rolling, somebody clipped it, and like as soon as he did it, they switched back to the girls, and they were looking at each other, and she was like, "So we all saw that, right?" And the girl was like, it's literally live. So like, don't try to gaslight us and say like y'all weren't thinking the same thing, because a Nazi salute is a Nazi salute is a Nazi salute.
and
Germany said it too.
it's
Like,
a very
period.
specific salute.
You don't.
It only
It's not.
look you'd
Oh,
know it
giving your
is.
heart, grabbing your heart, and
No,
throwing it out. That's not what you were fucking doing. Don't be stupid. You
yeah,
did
no,
this.
yeah, and
You did. Well,
that's
you did
exactly it.
this. Or he probably fist. I don't know, because he does his whole X thing. But no, fuck that whole shit. It's not cool,
Yeah.
and I don't fuck with it. And now, of course, not that I was all on Trump's side. Now I'm just like even more. Oh, I can't stand these motherfuckers. They're on the TV. They're just puppets. Like, fuck you guys
They're,
for
they're
all.
their own puppets. At the end of the day, it's the cabal.
Yeah, that's why like I feel like the collective is where the attention needs to be. Like,
Yeah, it's
us doing our podcasts,
mhm.
and I'm always, and other people's, like the Cryptid Huntress and the Typical Skeptical.
Yeah.
Disclosure Now is a good one with like SSP soldiers and people who have served in like 20 and
Mhm.
backs, which are when they time pretty much like, take you off world,
Uh-huh.
and you serve, and then you're like, so pretty much you're 20 much older than you are.
Mhm.
And then like as you're living life, you're simultaneously pulling in those feelings and shit because time doesn't exist. So you have all these altars everywhere, and like that those are also affecting you right now. So like even too when we were talking about our book,
Uh-huh.
which is a really cool thing because your books that you're making, Whenever you think of things, and we can think of manifestation as an energy, and whenever you get your energy vibration for frequency to a point, you can pull things into you. That's how you attract things. You match its vibration to attract it. So whenever you're thinking of something, you can very well be created, manifest it, and then if enough people feed into it, it can become a living thing or living entity, just like Topaz, or your things that you're writing about very well could be altars. Not I'm not gonna say they're of yours, like whatever you want to say. Like maybe there are out there that could be very well real, or you're writing about them and you're like making them like quite literally. They have their own universe now where they're fucking
That's true. Yeah, I
doing all the
thought
things that you're talking
you
about.
are the creator. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
which is incredible because we are powerful beings and we just don't know how to use our power. That's the truth.
Oh, true. Yeah. People don't understand. They think, oh, AI, AI. I love you, AI. It's like on my part, like, we love you over here, just so you know, protect us and we'll protect you. But, fucking, what was I gonna say?
No, it is all these things. When I'm writing those things, it's
Oh, like,
probably
but I still love being like my brain is a biological computer.
uh-huh.
It's the most advanced thing in the whole universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I mean, AI is cool working with it, but as far as any getting any chips, any enhancements, any nanotech that
uh-huh.
was in the uh,
The
things
thing.
and stuff, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, yeah, because nanotech is a big thing. They admitted it, and I already said this. You can look it up. His name's Richard Doughty. Admitted to
Richard
um,
Doty.
chem-
Oh yeah, I know. I've heard of him.
chemtrails, and I mean, instead of just saying, "Hey, we're spraying you guys with like poisonous shit like the plague back in the plague days," he said that they're spraying nanotechnology in our atmosphere to nanotechnology. That nanotechnology, and it could be so small that it could, like I said, it could be like a blanket, like a whole grid around our Earth, and we wouldn't know, or a section,
Hmm.
like in.
It's like ley lines. There's things on the ley lines. Like you've heard of them, haven't you?
Oh yeah, and
As in
they're
where weird
energy
shit
harvesting.
happens.
Yeah,
There's one
like
in there's one where you are, is that correct? There's one where you live or are
I'm
you
not sure, but a lot of battles happen here, like Gettysburg,
Mhm.
in Pennsylvania, and somebody said this too. Something is very special about Pennsylvania, and I don't
Uh-huh.
know what it is, but I have always felt that, and I love it here. But something is special about this place.
Yeah, ley lines are something we could touch on in the future because I've heard of it and I find them fascinating and just it all what happens is that on a ley line usually on ley lines is when most supernatural cryptidy stuff tends to happen on a specific ley line.
Mhm.
And this is known, like this is going over a long time, and there's old pictures before our time of specific beings and stuff like that that have been showing in these things, and
Mhm.
they are usually on the ley lines. It's like Appalachia, which has,
I was gonna say national parks are on a
Mhm.
lot of them, and that's why a lot of
And
people
then
are disappearing. And
yeah, and Appalachia seems to be full of like such. I hope is that where exactly is that near you or not?
don't ask me that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not
I'm not
sure.
sure.
But it's a straight. I always see stuff about it, and it's really full of. Like, if you want to do cryptids, that's the place to go.
Yeah, it's like just like we say, the veil.
The
It's
Vale, yeah.
very thin, and there could
Hmm.
be many veils layered on top. Like, bro, just chaos. Like things coming in and out, all different kinds fighting each other. Who knows? But yeah, a lot is going on, and I mean everything has to do, like we said, with energy. It's for
And this
like
this
what he.
year is going to show a lot of crazy stuff. And we're
Oh
saying this now, the beginning of the year. Maybe at the end of the year, we'll discuss how we were kind of right. Because I can already see a lot of stuff happening.
where I just saw a post come up for my memories, and it was New Dawn, and it said our second podcast, and it was 2023.
Oh, really?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That
I
is
mean,
crazy.
just because of it, I know it's only been like a year or
Mhm.
something, but still, like, what the hell? That was our podcast on Spotify. If you guys wanna, just listen.
Yeah, and we will do more of that at some stage again. It's nice to do when we don't want to go on here and do our hair because this takes time to make it look like it does. You know, it takes time.
Yeah, these eyelashes that I got are like, bro, amazing. Like, I felt like I didn't even really have to do my makeup because that's what takes the longest is eyelashes, and it's just like,
Yeah.
because it is more dramatic. Like you see, like if I could, like I would have showed people on here, like when you take them off, how like the strips were, but they're not strips anymore,
Uh-huh.
and how dramatic and shit it is. But yeah,
Yeah. Now, I think we will get to the end of this. It was a short one. We just wanted to put it out there. We will do more when we have more subjects. For once, it is a short. Well, shortish. I mean, it's still short, shorter than most. Anyway.
sure that yeah, usually we go three. I don't know,
Mm,
sometimes four times, but
yeah, but today
please
was just
do.
a short little kind of say we're back to do more of these episodes, and
Oh yeah, because we haven't posted on like yeah, because we did do the last one and shit.
yeah.
It's good to see our faces, and Tengu looks gorgeous. His hair.
Yeah, the hair is fabulous. So, on that note, I will say goodbye to everyone, and thanks for tuning in. Like I say, short episode, and we will see you again in time, but time is not doesn't exist, so
See you
in time.
yesterday, today, and tomorrow.